Hello and welcome back. Now, it's being hailed as one of the juiciest deals in modern military history. India's poised to pay French aviation firm Dassault $11 billion for 126 of its Rafale fighter jets. Now, 108 of them will be built in India's technology mecca, Bangalore. It means more jobs and more aeronautical know-how as Dassault shares information with the Asian country on how to build a fighting machine. Negotiations on the deal have entered into a final phase and have elicited much excitement here in France. Not only because Dassault spent 2 decades trying to sell the jet internationally, but also because of the huge boost it'll give to French industrial trade. This report now from our correspondent Vikram Singh.
Foggy skies in Bangalore, the tech hub that is also India's aeronautics capital. Painted proudly on the city's walls are images of locally built fighter planes, and Dassault's Rafale could soon join that list after becoming the preferred bidder in an €11 billion contract that could see 108 of the French planes being built in Bangalore.
The way it has been structured makes it mother of all the deals because of the significant half of the money will flow back into India in terms of work, technology, cash, everything. These technologies would definitely help at least 4 different industries in India, including automotive, homeland security, commercial aerospace, defense.
Defense analysts believe that in addition to its performance and lower price, the Rafale was chosen over rivals such as the Eurofighter and Saab's Gripen because France was more willing to transfer sensitive technologies to India.
I think one of the decisions that India really wanted was the AESA radar, which Rafale did offer. One expects a lot of technology transfer as in airframes as far as composites go. They'll be in the fabric of the engine, they'll be in the avionics, there could be a mission computer, among other things.
At the Indian end of most of the technology transfers will be the state-owned aerospace giant Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, or HAL. The Bangalore-based company currently has revenues of more than €2 billion and employs nearly 34,000 people. Around 12,000 additional workers are expected to be hired to build 108 Indian-made Rafales.
The Indian Air Force has a very long tradition of a relationship with the French. Right from the 50s or the early days of our Air Force when we had the Mystère aircraft, and one of the most reliable aircraft amongst the fighter aircraft of the Indian Air Force has been the Mirage 2000.
As it seeks to modernize its Soviet-era military equipment, India has become the world's largest arms importer. For the 5 years between 2010 to 2015, the country is expected to spend €60 billion on defence acquisitions.
OK, well, we can now cross live to New Delhi, where our correspondent Vikram Singh is waiting for us. Vikram, thank you for joining us. We do know that the deal has entered the final stages. How confident can we be that it will be signed and sealed?
Of course, given all the excitement surrounding that announcement, it's easy to forget that there's still a long way to go before final paperwork is signed on this deal. It will take, given the size of the deal, given the complexity of the tech transfers involved and, the number of variables really involved, it will take a lot of time to finalize the agreement. Some people saying a few months, others saying it could take as long as a few years. Now, there has been some concern that India might backtrack on its decision to reassure Dassault. India's defense minister recently came out and said that it is committed to going ahead and signing a deal with Dassault. But of course, he pointed out that this is something that will have to go through a lot of bureaucratic processes, a lot of hurdles really before the final agreement is reached, and expect the Indians really to bargain hard when it comes to negotiations. So it could take quite some time.
Why did India choose France's Rafale fighter jet over the Eurofighter Typhoon, another jet plane made by a consortium of European companies?
Well, the Eurofighter was seen by many people in the industry as the favourite to clinch this deal, given the Rafale's lack of success when it comes to international buyers. But there's a number of factors why the French plane came out on top in this particular contest. I think at the most fundamental level, it's purely a question of the Rafale being cheaper than the Eurofighter. We're hearing about $5 million less per plane, and therefore it automatically became the lowest and preferred bidder. But I think it goes beyond just the money involved, especially in a contract of the size, of this duration and the sensitivity. Remember, Dassault already works with the Indian Air Force. Its Mirage fighter jet has been used by the Air Force here. Pilots love that plane. They're extremely comfortable with the plane. So that must have been a factor. And of course, there's also no confirmation yet on what technologies will be transferred. But there is a consensus that France was perhaps more generous, more willing than the other bidders to transfer more sensitive technologies. So I think all those factors together led to the Rafale being chosen over the Eurofighter.
And if India are prepared to spend $11 billion on this, they've got to be pretty confident of the returns they're going to get.
Well, of course, the way the defence establishment here sees it, it's not just a question of buying, these 126 fighter planes. It's an investment that they see and hope will enhance and develop India's indigenous defence capability.
What does the Indian public think about this deal? Is it worth it for them?
The response has been, on the whole, I'd say enthusiastic, and that's a lot of that is because the press's response has been rather positive to this. Of course, it's a very technical, at this level. Of course, it's still a very technical agreement. A lot of people don't really know the specifics of why the Rafale would be a better choice for India over the Eurofighter. But on the whole, people have reacted positively. There is a lot of, the feeling is that there's not been any corruption involved in the process. The process, especially of selecting the Rafale, has been applauded here by the public. India does unfortunately have a history of corruption in big-ticket defence contracts. That seems to be absent in this one, which is the biggest one of them all so far. So on the whole, the public have responded positively to the deal.
OK, well, thank you very much for all those details. Vikram Singh in New Delhi.